think everything should be working. I'll wait a little bit for people to show up. Yeah, I started a few minutes early just to make sure I have everything taken care of. I have Twitch on mobile right now so that I can look at the chat whenever I'm not able to. And yeah, I think everything is pretty much good to go. Excuse me. All right. Well, I think I'll go ahead and get started. But yeah, hello everybody watching, either right now or in the future. I am Barendipitous, and this is something I've been kind of wanting to do for a while now. This is Myst, specifically the Masterpiece Edition. I'm not sure how many people out there who follow me are familiar with this series. This is a very old game. It's 28 years old this year, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's almost 30 years old. And yeah, I remember my parents got this game for me when I was a kid. I tried playing it, never finished it. It's a puzzle game, probably one of the first big puzzle video games out there, unless you count things like Tetris and whatever. But hello, Amazu, welcome. I'm just giving a little brief introduction for the stream as well as for whoever watches on YouTube later on. But yeah, so this is essentially me wanting to actually finish this game and all the games in the series as well. Myst has quite a history. It was a huge thing in the mid to late 90s. And I really want to be able to actually finish the game this time. You having playback issues on your end? I'm sorry to hear that. I assume the levels are okay. My end is fine? Okay. Sounds good. But yeah, what else can I say about this? Oh yeah, so Myst is the first in a series of games, of the Myst series. And I have all of the games, all of the Myst games. It's working perfectly. All right, good. But yeah, I have all of the Myst games, and I would like to, and this is the first one. I am familiar with the first section of the game. Myst is split up into different sections, and I'm pretty familiar with how to play the first section, but I never got past that. And so this is going to be my attempt at actually playing through it. So I think I've waffled on for long enough. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So yeah, Amazu and anyone else who watches, feel free to let me know if the levels are not quite right. And I'll try to follow chat. I think I can have chat. I have chat on my phone here. Hopefully that works. So, we're going to do a new game. This right here, nostalgia trip already.
realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed. I must admit, however, such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
All right, and that is the classic opening of Myst. The audio is not the best in this in this game. I'm playing the classic version, and yeah. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty well, thank you. But yeah, so this is the classic version of the game. There's another updated like 3D version called Real Myst, which I think I'll play later. But I wanted to get the classic experience first. For those of you who couldn't quite understand what that voice was and there were no subtitles, essentially this person was falling down this rift, and they disappeared, and you'll see why. And you'll see why they disappeared pretty shortly. But it's just the book falling. I think they were hoping, the man was hoping to have the book be destroyed because of it falling so fast, so far down. However, he's pretty, like, even while he was falling, he was pretty sure that the book would not be destroyed as he hoped. And he just sort of like, he was wondering like who's gonna pick up the book and whatever, and he kind of thought, well, it's no use wondering about it. And then he thought, maybe perhaps the ending has not yet been written. So books and writing, they're key themes in the Myst series, at least in the first game of Myst. I don't know a lot about the subsequent games, but here is the book titled Myst. And just appreciate this music right here. There we go. I didn't quite get the bass drop. But yeah, I love that part. The music, the flyover of this weird island, and you have no context whatsoever. And we touch this panel, and we're teleported right into the island. And here we are. The classic Myst Island. So yeah. There's no backstory here whatsoever. But like I said, I'm familiar enough with this particular game that I know what's going on, like in this particular island, basically. But I'm going to leave a few details open for the time being, so that those of you who don't know much about it can still like kind of experience the mystery of it. So yeah, so we have a sunken ship here. Looks like a lot of forest. You can kind of look around. Basically a point-and-click adventure kind of a thing. So we have a switch here, which doesn't seem to do anything at first. Let's walk up these stairs. We got a big gear here. I love the atmospheric music in this game. It's just, like, some people have described this game as timeless, but also at the same time, so 90s. Looks like we have another switch here, so I'll go ahead and flip that. Excuse me. We continue to explore a bit. We have a piece of paper here. Catherine, I've left for you a message of utmost importance in our forechamber beside the dock. Enter the number of marker switches on this island into the imager to retrieve the message. Yours, Atris. So there's a piece of the puzzle right there. There's someone named Atris who left this message for someone named Catherine. And that there's a chamber by the dock. And there are apparently a number of marker switches on the island. We have to enter that number into some kind of imager in that chamber. So I think one can rightfully assume that these switches are possibly marker switches. We've come across 3 of them already. I love this room. So it looks like just like a weird empty room with a dentist chair, right? If you sit here, you can kind of like, you have this like sort of machine where you can enter the month, day, the year, and the time. However, it's like a planetarium. So if we enter something different, it'll show us a different constellation. Very interesting. Also, let's just take a moment, sit back, appreciate the music. It's great. Just for funsies, and sometimes there's some sounds there. It's a bit grating to the ears, like this beeping sound. But just for funsies, let's see. Today is what? Today is the 24th of May. It is 2021. Wow, there we go. This game was made in 1993, by the way, just so you know. The original version of this game. What is it? It's like... Let's see, right now it's 8 o'clock. My phone says 8:07. I'm going to push this button at 8:08. There we go. There you go. Doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot, but I just think that's cool. What's weird is that this lever, oh, it's 10:07 for you. Let's move to 10:08, shall we? There we go. 10:08 p.m. on May 24th, 2021. I'm in Mountain Standard. I'm in Mountain Daylight Time. So yeah, I'm in the Western United States. But yeah, that is the constellation for Eastern. It changes ever so slightly. But yeah, there you go. You can like this year goes like really high. Up to 9999, which is kind of ridiculous, I think. But also, like, just... I think it's kind of like the fact that it's a planetarium, you think of space, and there's like this cool atmospheric, contemplative, meditative music. It's just kind of like... Our current year is all the way... Oh, oops. There we go. It's all the way in this spot on this whole line here. Like... That's, I think that gives you kind of some perspective here. I give you heavy northeast vibes. Interesting. Yeah. I believe. So yeah. If you're talking about accent, as far as American accents go, mine is pretty standard, and especially the farther west you go, the more likely, the more normal and standardized and homogeneous the American accent is. It's the more east you go where you encounter the different. More varieties, usually. But yeah, I mean, I've been in several different places around the United States, but I currently reside out in the mountains, in the western mountains. But anyway, enough about that. That doesn't really tell, like, as cool as all this is, it doesn't really tell us anything, does it? We've come across 3 marker switches. It looks like we have a new building. And this is a cool building right here. There's like a library that has a bunch of, different things. We have a map here. So, I'm going to explore the island a little bit more before I get into what's in the library here. Okay, so we can go this way, and we see some kind of spaceship. And here we see our 4th marker switch. Just seems so weird that there's a spaceship out here. Like, why? It's interesting, so... Alright, so now we have a bunch of, like, buttons and stuff. They seem to have different symbols on them. Oh, this is the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th marker switch. And, oh yeah, look at that, a sunken ship. Gonna go deeper into this forest, and I see there's a 6th marker switch over here. Let's go down in here and see what's up. Some kind of, like, powering mechanism of some kind. So the left one seems to mark power, and the right one seems to mark power to spaceship. So I guess this powers up the spaceship we saw earlier. Oh, there we go. So it looks like we have some kind of a clock tower of some kind with a 7th marker switch out there, which I can't reach yet, with these sort of dials here. So... And, oh, TWK. Wow, hello. Good to have you here. Yeah, so I'm starting, like, I have all the Myst games, so I'm going to be playing through all of them, through stream and through Twitch and YouTube, but all of them will end up on YouTube, so, but yeah. I give you the problem. I think it might be, yeah, so, it's good to have you here, TWK. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, so it took me such a long time to figure out what these things did, my first few times playing. But as you might have noticed, it turns the hands on this clock, so I'll have to deal with that later. And it looks like we have another house thing with an 8th marker switch. So we have a picture of a tree with a wall around it. This doesn't seem to do anything yet. And we have a safe with 3 digits. Lil Reeds, hello. Welcome. Oh, it looks like we have a place we can go up here. It's basically just, I guess, a tree with a wall and rails around it. Yeah, I'm a dev and several areas of the game. Myst is such a cool series. I know Tyveer is a huge fan of it too. Yeah, so my parents gave me a copy of the original Myst when I was a kid. I think this is in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And I tried playing it as a kid. I could never get very far. And so this is me finally giving the series another chance. Like I said earlier, I do know what's going on with this island. This particular... Well, islands are called ages in this game. But I don't know much beyond that. Like, I think I know how, like, one other age works, basically. But I think I've gone around the entire island. However, there is one place that I have not gone to yet. So this note here from earlier mentioned a 4-chamber beside the dock. So, you might wonder, what is this chamber beside the dock? Is it this gear thing? No. I ignored this earlier. It's a secret door! I guess it's not too secret. Like, you could kind of see it already. Yeah, so we have this weird cauldron thing. However, if you push this button, you can see it's basically projecting a hologram of some kind. Now here's something that really got me stumped until I saw someone else get stuck on it too. So we have this thing here. Settings for a dimensional imager. Topographical extrusion test, 40. Water turbulent pool, 67. Marker switch diagram, 47. I don't know if I would have noticed this button on my own, but if you push this, hey, look at that! We can enter in numbers. So, it's already at 67. And we can see here that 67 is water turbulent pool. It's kind of what it was already. So, I believe 47 was marker switch diagram. So if we change to 47 and push this button, there we go. It shows us what a marker switch looks like. Which, you know, as I kind of figured, it's those switches that we've been seeing all throughout the island. Now topographical extrusion test 40. Let's see what that's all about. So it really is just this cool, like, 3D hologram of a mountain range. And that's it. I'm assuming this was just the developers of this game, Cyan Games, showing off in the early 90s. So there's that. But the important thing is the message said to enter the number of marker switches in the imager. So I counted 8 marker switches.
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine, it's one of our sons. I suspect Achenar, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Cirrus as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long. Well, I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return. But if you've forgotten the access keys, remember the tower rotation. Oh, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, wait, and erase this message after you viewed it, just to be safe.
Okay. So there's a man addressing Catherine, possibly the Atris from the note. Actually, I know it's Atris from the note. But not sure how well the sound is. Let me know if you guys could or could not hear that. But essentially what he was saying was that he was addressing Catherine, my love, so partner or wife or something. And he was saying that he had terrible news, that most of his books have been destroyed. And that he's pretty sure it's one of their sons that destroyed the books. The sound was pretty good. Thank you, TWK. All right. So I'll just very briefly... I suspect Achenar, but I shouldn't come to conclusions. He also mentioned Cirrus. So Achenar and Cirrus are the names of the sons. Remember the tower rotation he mentioned? And he said that the other books are placed in the places of protection. The places of protection. I think it's also interesting that he said, erase this message after you've viewed it just to be safe. So we're viewing the message. So either Catherine hasn't seen it, Catherine couldn't or wouldn't delete the message, or we are Catherine. I don't think we're Catherine, but there you go. So we have this man named, and again, like, if you're watching and you know what's going on, I'm sorry if it's like old news to you, but I imagine this will be new. This will be news to a lot of people, because I have a lot of people who follow me who are younger and might, like, if they've heard of Myst, they might not have played it. So let's go back into here, into the library where we have a bunch of stuff to look at here. Oh, you like hearing my breakdowns? Thank you, I appreciate it. I love lore. Okay, I pretty much can't help it. Like I love games like this. I think Myst is one of the first like real popular games to have really popularized it, of like sort of putting you in the story, letting you discover things on your own. And yeah, it's just, I love it. So we have a map here. We have a red book with a page. We have a painting. We have what appears to be a small library, another painting, and a blue book, and a fireplace. So, let's look at the red book first. So if we open this up, we'll see another like image thing. It's like another linking book, but it's nothing but static. You can't click on it or anything. But we have this red page here, so let's put it in here. Ooh, what did that do?
Why? Bring me a red. I can't see. You don't let me read too much. Beg her, bring. I am serious. Give it up. There is one thing I want to rescue.
Okay. So if you couldn't understand that, I don't blame you. So that man in there, like, there are two crucial pieces of information that you can take from that. Number one, well, maybe three. He doesn't seem to know who we are. Oh, he said, like, I can't see you, or something like that. So he seems to be in some kind of distress. He says, bring me a red page. So we already put a red page in there, and that allowed us to see that. He wants more red pages. He also said, I am Cirrus. So we heard earlier Cirrus was the names of one of the sons. So if Cirrus is in this book... So, by the way, once again, it's just static. There's nothing there. Unless we put a blue page into this. And we'll see what this brings.
Serious? Are you? See you. Now. Help me. Bring blue pages. Never. Just... I must have the blue page. Bring them to me.
Alright. So he didn't say his name, but we know the name of the other son is Agonar, so we can assume that was Agonar. And he obviously wants blue pages. It's actually kind of funny. A couple fun little tidbits about these two brothers here in this game. So Cirrus and Agonar. That moment where Agonar says, "Bring me blue pages." I think it's funny how like unhinged Agonar looks, whereas Cirrus is just like very like, "Bring me a red page, if you please." And that kind of thing, right? So we have these three characters. We have Atris, I guess the father, and we have these two brothers, Cirrus and Agonar. These three characters are played by the two main creators of this game. I forgot the names of one of the creators, but Rand Miller is he's still in charge of Cyan. Of the Cyan War of Cyan Incorporated, the developer. Rand Miller took the role of both Atris and Agonar. So the guy in the cauldron and this guy in the blue book, that's the same guy acting two different roles, which I think is kind of funny. Atris seems like a very serious, like somber kind of person, whereas Agonar just seems a bit unhinged. So it's just kind of funny to me that Rand Miller played both of those parts. And then the other one, Cirrus, was played by Rand Miller's partner in crime with this game. I forgot his name. I don't think that other guy does much with the Myst series anymore. It's mostly Rand, but yeah, those two are not actors, but they decided, we'll play the parts, whatever. So there you go, fun little tidbits for you. I just think that's hilarious that like, there were so many limitations with making. I've watched documentaries about this game. The history of Cyan and this game is so fascinating. But yeah, that's a quite well known fact about this game is that the characters are played by the developers themselves. Hey, can we confirm that the people doing voice lines in Brawlhalla, they're the developers? Like, can we have a confirmation on that? I'm assuming that's not the case. Like, I'm assuming Blue Mammoth Games actually gets voice actors for like Mako's lines in her trailer, Magyar's lines, Reno, and all that stuff. But anyway, enough about that. Let's continue. I think, I'm good for another hour, I think. So, I'll get to these paintings in a moment, but first let's look at this library here. So, if you look at most of these books, they're burned, which is basically confirming what Atris said earlier. Most of the books have been destroyed. However, you can see a handful that look fine. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. There's a fair amount of text in these. I think I should have enough time to read through them all, maybe. I'm going to kind of I'm not going to read them all at once. But there's a good amount of lore here, like that are in these books. So I think I'll read one book at a time. Yeah, the character trailer ones are contracted out, but I guess you could say Remix is a developer and a voice actor for the game. Imazu, you can do voice acting. That's cool. Oh yeah. So, let's see. Which book should I? So I'll read one book now, and then we'll continue with some of the exploration and like puzzles and stuff like that. All right. I have called this age Channelwood, and it is a very different world. Though it is exactly how I imagined it, it is still amazing to see it with my own eyes. Water covers this age as far as I can see, except for a small rocky island. Elsewhere, there are only trees, which grow directly out of the water. A myriad of thin wooden passageways are built just above the water and disappear into the forest. I assume they were built some time ago, for they appear aged. Barrenwen lore. I am eager to discover more about this land and its people, but I have arrived here late and I must rest. I was awakened this morning by strange noises coming from a pathway adjacent to the one in which I had slept. I saw a group of monkey-like people heading in my direction. They had not seen me yet. I did not feel threatened. They had not seen me yet. I did not feel threatened by their presence. Their response to me was one that I would have never expected. After staring at me for a short time, they fell to their knees and began what appeared to be some sort of ceremonial worship. I tried to speak to them, but they did not understand my language. Instead, they indicated through enthusiastic hand motions that I was to follow them. As we walked, I began to notice that the waters below us were changing colors. Slowly, subtly, they would change from deep blue to muddy orange, then from muddy orange to beautiful clear. I was so intrigued by the water, I hardly noticed that we had arrived at a ladder. Climbing the ladder led us to their village, which is about 10 meters above the water and can only be reached by rope ladders that stretch from the lower path to the village level, approximately halfway up the grand trees. It is very interesting watching these people carry out their daily tasks. Even after watching them for hours, I did not understand exactly what they were doing. At sunset, they motioned for me to follow them. I followed the creatures to the doorway of an enormous hut. Strangely, once inside, I found that the hut appeared even larger than it had from the inside. The walls were garnished with bright metals, and in the center of the hut sat the leader of these people. At least he appeared to be their leader, for he sat a meter off the floor in a thick throne. Guards surrounded the strong creature, who was dressed in many exotic, beautiful fabrics. Next to the leader sat a very old human. At least to some extent he appears human. His hair, which was only on his face and head, was completely gray, almost white, and hung very long around his frail body. His thin head hung limply by an almost grotesque neck that could not hold its head up to look at me. but what a surprise, this creature could speak my language. Shortly thereafter, I was given a bed with some hand motions that looked to be telling me to go to sleep. I look forward to learning more. As I suspected, the ancient creature is a human, but he is old beyond his own reckoning and seems almost insane. However, the tree dwellers almost revere him as a god. They are treating me now in the same fashion, which makes me feel very uncomfortable. It is almost impossible to understand this old man. His voice is feeble but wild. He has adopted much of the language of the tree dwellers. He himself told me he had not spoken our own tongue in ages. He attempted to explain to me the history of this place. The following is my best translation of what he told me. Many years ago, the humans and tree dwellers lived together in this place, which was then a vast island. They interacted very little. The humans dwelt on the ground, and the tree dwellers lived high above the humans. Occasionally, the island was disturbed by mysterious rumblings which happened randomly. Some sort of tectonic or volcanic action, I suspect. The sometimes slight, sometimes heavy tremors would only last a short time. Then they would stop, allowing everything to return to normal. One day things changed. The rumbling began and grew quickly to unprecedented levels. Soon it became apparent that the entire island was sinking slowly into the ocean around them. Many of the humans died that day, but not before sacrificing themselves in order to stop the sinking of the island. The humans who lived through this catastrophe moved into the trees where they gradually died out. Maybe because they were unequipped for such an environment, but I'm not sure. This is the story the old man communicated to me. Although many details are very unclear in my mind, I'm especially confused as to how the humans saved the island from completely sinking. In fact, I doubt the accuracy of that part of the story. The island must have stopped on its own, yet the old man believes in the truth of the story as if he had been there. And the tree dwellers worship him, and apparently all humans, as if he or they were heroes or gods. The old man ended our conversation today with an event which I shall never forget. He began gripping my hands tightly, murmuring something about rest and asleep. He then said, "We had expected you to come sooner." These actions filled me with a sort of immediate dread. With much effort, he stood to his feet. I tried to help, but he pushed me away with more force than I imagined his frail body contained. The tree dwellers quietly surrounded him with very solemn faces. They then kneeled before him. He walked to each and placed his hand on their heads. All the while he murmured words which I did not understand. Finally, he turned to me and smiled. Then he closed his eyes and walked out the door and off of the narrow path high in the trees. The tree dwellers were silent. They began a procession down the nearest rope ladder. As I descended, I saw several of them pick up the body. He had fallen onto a lower level of walkway and carry it away. He was laying down at the dead end of a short pier-like structure. With the use of some potion of one of the tree creatures lit the pier on fire, and I watched as the fumes engulfed him. As this strange funeral proceeded, the waters around the pier changed to dull green. This morning I awoke, finding it hard to even believe the previous evening's events. The water is a dull green for as far as I can see now. For some reason, the water no longer shifts color. As I wander throughout the pathways, the creatures watch me, curious to see what I will do next. They are constantly offering me some strange objects of affection. I even found food outside the doorway to the room in which I had slept. This is a unique race of beings. I hope to learn their language soon, so that I may learn more from them. I have lived in this world for 3 months off and on, and the tree dwellers have shown great hospitality. I'm even beginning to learn bits of their language. I have decided to return home for an extended stay with my loving wife and my sons, and hopefully return with them. However, I am sure Catherine will once again refuse. I think this age would be a wonderful experience for them all, and I at least look forward to how Cirrus and Achenar will react to its curious inhabitants. Catherine is staying behind, as expected. My sons have returned with me, and they enjoy this age very much. They get along very well with the tree dwellers, and are picking up their language surprisingly fast. I have no doubt that it will not be too long until they can speak with the tree dwellers much better than myself. I am leaving tomorrow to check on Osmoian age. Cirrus had suggested that I allow him and his brother to stay, though the idea unsettled me. No worries, new viewers, just a bear in his natural habitat. Though the idea unsettled me, I know the boys are growing up rapidly. The hospitality of these creatures is such that I could think of no better place to leave them alone for a short while, so I will consent to their request. I warned the boys not to take advantage of the respect the tree dwellers have for their ideas. They seem to understand my warning, and I have faith they will follow it. Much to my dismay, upon arriving in Everdunes, I learned that Pran and her people are continuing to be menaced by the cocktick. I fear for their survival and plan on returning to her shortly after checking on Cirith and Achenar here. See Everdunes journal for more information. After watching Cirith and Achenar, I see they are handling things very well, and I think I can put to rest any fears about leaving them in Channelwood again, and for a little longer time. The tree dwellers seem slightly distressed that I am leaving, but are happy that Cirith and Achenar are staying behind again. I have been gone for over 3 days and have been to many different places. I had to tell Cirith and Achenar about Pran's death today, and they were visibly shaken, although they only remembered her from their childhood. Catherine has suggested it would be wise for Cirith and Achenar to... hello, No Longer Jiro, welcome. I'm playing Myst, and I'm reading through one of the 4 books available. Catherine has suggested it would be wise for Cirith and Achenar to leave Channelwood for a while, and I have to agree. They will be returning with me when I leave again. I've told my sons that they will be returning with me in 2 days. They spent the entire night telling me of an adventure they experienced in my absence. It was rather remarkable. It seems they constructed a boat with the creatures and traveled some ways out into the surrounding waters. I enjoy hearing them talk excitedly of their adventures and am reminded of my own adventures as a child. I finally understand why the tree dwellers have been giving me their many inks and insisting I write with them. Looking through some of my past entries, I see now that the inks have changed from the black I thought they were to various different colors. I have shown some of the creatures my journal, and they laughed and howled. I did not know they had such a sense of humor. Even now, as I look through this very colorful journal, I cannot help but laugh myself. No, we will be returning tomorrow, so my sons are with the creatures for the last night here. They have told me they would like to come to Channelwood again, and so have asked if they can visit some other rages alone, though I'll have to think over their request. I believe they have proven to me that they are trustworthy and responsible. Catherine will also have to help me decide whether they are ready for travel alone. For now, I must give my farewells to the creatures, for I do not know how long it will be until I visit this age again. So it looks like we have a map here, probably of the sort of like treehouse structures, and that's the end of the book. So yeah, there you go. So it seems that Atris, Catherine, Cirith, and Achenar were a nice family for a while. Let's see, it was this book, right? Yeah, Channelwood. There it is. Okay. So I'm gonna go out and do some more stuff around the island for a little bit, and then I'll go back to one of these books. That way, it's not all reading for like a whole half hour. So, I have saved the best for last. So this is a painting of some kind, of some doorway. Let's click on it. Was this a secret passageway? What? And by the way, the entrance has closed. So that's why we have this painting, which will open it up. Baron is a professional. I'm going to admit, I saw a couple of Let's Plays of Myst. I have not gone further than I've already gone in the game, so I haven't spoiled a lot for myself. But I was just curious about like how other people have managed the first, and so I saw another Let's Player do that same thing of just reading one book at a time. So yeah, let's check out this new passageway, huh? So actually, so I'll just show. So basically, we have this weird elevator thing. Not only that, it doesn't just go up; it also rotates. Okay. Now we're not going to see anything up here yet. I just wanted to show you guys like what's here, basically. There's another ladder back here with a key symbol. So what could all this mean? You may wonder. Well, let's go back down to the library. Alright. So, we have this map here. Now, normally this map would be empty, but I flipped the marker switches. And each of those marker switches allows you to see these various landmarks. So, if you remember, in that cauldron below the dock, Atris said, remember the tower rotation. So if you hold this, so yeah, that very pleasant sound is somehow you interact with this map and you rotate the tower. Now you saw that there are a few points in which it stops at a red line. All right, so let's stop at one of those red lines, shall we? There we go. And let's go back up, up here. So we've rotated the tower so that it, theoretically it faces that gear by the dock. Okay, so we can see now the tower is turned toward the gear, the gear place. And if we go to this key area, ooh, look at this now. We have what appear to be some hints. So I'm going to write. So, and by the way, this is the kind of game that having a notebook or blank or scratch paper is very handy. 240. 2, 2, 1. Alright, so where could we use those clues? Well, 240 seems to be like a time, right? So let us, oh gosh. Here we go. So once again, as a reminder, I know how the puzzles of this first island or this first age works. But once we get past this island, I'm a bit less clueless, depending. I think I know the puzzles of like one other island or something. That's like as far as I ever got as a kid. So to get out of here, let's click this portrait right here. Now, I mean, like, for the most part, this is... I do like puzzle games, okay? I love escape rooms. I love puzzle games like this. One could argue this is like one of the main inspirations of escape rooms or games. If you've heard of games like The Witness or whatever, like they take inspiration from this game directly. But seeing a bunch of people do a blind playthrough of this, a lot of this can definitely be figured out by just kind of walking around, observing. Because that's what these kinds of puzzles are. It's basically an escape room where you look around, you observe the clues you have, and you see, okay, which locks fit which keys fit which locks, which combinations, and stuff like that. So, anyway, let's go to this clock thing. And the time that we were given by the tower was 2:40. There we go. What I've done is I've turned the minute hand I've turned the minute hand by 6 intervals, so now it's 2:40, which gave us the bridge. And we'll flip this over. We'll flip this open. Okay. This freaking puzzle. Okay. So the other clue that we got from the tower when it was pointed toward the gears, the large gears, was 2, 2, 1, right? And so if you pull this lever, you see that it moves the top two. And if you pull this lever, it pulls the bottom two. All right? And you can keep doing this for a while. You see there's a counterbalance down on the left side. And you can't do it anymore once it reaches the floor. So you have this reset kind of thing here. All right. So I am not alone in this. I kept thinking, okay, so if I turn the top two this way and the bottom two this way, and then if I do that and that, and I kept trying to figure it out. So here's the thing about that. This is so frustrating. Like it is kind of like it's one of those things where it's like really like Myst and its successors are not perfect. There are some times where you don't realize that you're missing something, and you feel like it's it's slightly unfair. There is a little bit of this in here, but it's also the first time a big it's also the first time that a puzzle game like this ever got like as popular as it did. In fact, actually, another fun fact. Myst, this original game of Myst, it came out in 1993. It was the best-selling computer video game ever for almost 10 years until it got beaten by The Sims in like 2002 or something. So, yeah, it was a pretty big deal. Anyway, so here's the thing. Let's see, if we turn these, basically so the trick is to hold one of the levers, all right? This is the thing that I didn't get for the longest time. There we go. If you hold one of the levers, then only the middle section will move, all right? Amazu, you got your first sponsorship? That is very exciting. I had not heard about that. Congratulations. So honestly, I'm impressed by anybody who gets like a sponsorship because, and it's not out of jealousy or anything. Like I'm fine if I don't get a sponsorship or not. I'm just very happy for those who do, really. So congratulations. That's very exciting. And again, I'm just like pretty impressed by people who end up getting like sponsorships or whatever and things like that. Yeah, good on you. So, what happened when I solved this? This gear here opened, and it seems to be empty, right? That's another cool thing about the Myst games. When you accomplish something on one side of the island, it likely has repercussions on another side. So let's check out the big gear over here. Yeah, look at that. It's open. And, wouldn't you know it, there's a book to go to a different age. Now that's cool. I'm not going to go there yet, though. I'm going to solve all the puzzles of this island. Hopefully I can do that today. If not, definitely Wednesday. So, what if the person realizes I have 3 YouTube subs, 27 Twitter followers, and 100 Twitch followers? I don't know. I mean, sponsorship and it's as long as it's mutually beneficial for as long as it's mutually beneficial, that's just fine, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so here's where we can start to connect some of the dots. Okay, the book that we read was from Channelwood, and can't remember which of these. Okay, so this is like green and everything. This has a gear. I'm pretty sure this is the mechanical age. Let me discuss it with the person and check its legitimacy. That's a good idea because honestly, even though I said as long as it's mutually beneficial, if there have been a few times where I've never had a sponsorship myself. I have had a few emails where someone has approached me with some kind of sponsorship deal or whatever. But yeah, usually those kind of things seem to be sketchy, right? I'm just like, hey, I discovered your YouTube channel, and I'm like, yeah, as if I don't have that many subscribers, I don't have that many videos. Why? Sure, I have a decent following on Twitter, but that's about it. So, yeah. That is a bit of a red flag. If you have that few number of followers, you want to double check that. Anyway, each of these 4 books corresponds to a different age or a different island, and each of those islands are throughout can be found throughout this island, this map. Let's read this one. I probably should have tried to find the book that matched the gear age and read that one, but whatever. Before arriving in this age, I was determined that it would be a journey to a world very different from my previous adventures, and it was. The sky here is dark and gray and incessantly displays flashes of lightning in the distance. I met a very old man with a long beard and hair that hangs to his waist. He is very feeble and has trouble even moving. This man has obviously been through very many things in this strange world, and I have learned many things from him. He has told me an interesting story of this world's history. Years ago, he told me, there was a beautiful city that rose up out of the water. It housed many people inside its walls, and the people had everything they wished for. The city was surrounded by 3 high hills which rose higher than the city. On the east hill of the city rested a large lookout post. The people of the city had constructed the post expecting visitors to arrive from the east. The people had no means of traveling in the water, which forced them to merely wait for friend or foe. As the time passed, friendly visitors brought rumors of an enemy that existed beyond the horizon. The people grew fearful, yet nothing happened. One day, the visually sunny sky became as dark as night, and black ships appeared on the horizon. The lookout post's attempts at peace were turned away, and the sentries there were easily overwhelmed. The ships continued to wreak havoc on the city, apparently destroying everyone and everything. After the foundations of the city were destroyed, the city sunk deep into the ocean, and only the lookout post remained. The black ship sailed away. The man continued to say that 8 people had hidden and managed to survive through the attack. In the 9 years since the attack, 2 of the survivors had died. He also said it was rumored that 10 years from the attack, the enemy would return to finish the destruction they had started so long ago. I have decided, since hearing the man's story, it would be admirable to save this civilization and stop this enemy's plan of destruction. However, it asks for TJ as board, not a mods, when TJ is board has a larger following, even then by all accounts still has a small following. Yeah. I've decided, since hearing the man's story, it would be admirable to save this civilization and stop the enemy's plan of destruction. I'm excited about the adventure that awaits me, and an idea has sparked in my mind to provide the needed defense for these people. I met the remaining survivors today, and I have begun work on a plan for protection. After a short absence, I have returned to this age with my 2 sons. They have, as of yet, traveled rarely with me, and they are understandably excited to be here. They have grown considerably since Everdune, and it was already obvious to me that they will be a great help. This time, instead of the nuisance they have been in the past. All 3 of us, along with 4 of the healthier survivors, began construction today. We are building upon the old city's ruins, which will provide a perfect foundation for our fortress. My sons have been spending much of their spare time on the South Island, where most of my materials are stored. I am very pleased with their intelligence, and their creativity is refreshing to see, as they work on some small project of their own. It has been for over 4 months now, and construction is going well. My sons love the world, except for its gray sky. They detest the gray sky, and tell me many times they wish the sky here were like the sky in Myst. So, that's the island we're on now. We're on the island of Myst. The old man I first talked to tells me that the enemy is due in 4 months. I feel we will be ready when the time comes. The man reminds me of Emmett in many ways, and I often wonder how Emmett and his people are doing. It has been 6 months of work, and we have finally finished the fortress. It rests between 3 hills, which are now only islands due to a rising water level that the people experienced after the attack. Inside the fortress, I have designed a most intriguing device. It makes use of a technology called holography I began experimenting with on my visits to Aspermere. It will be working in a couple of days after I compensate for some small miscalculations. This holographic device will enable the survivors to learn to use the fortress. The enemy is due to come soon, and I trust the fortress will provide... Oh, this must be the fortress. Sufficient protection for all of us. The black ships have come. Their attack was substantial. Their weapons have been stopped, and it appears they have turned away in defeat. I could not help but smile as I watched the boats leave. We have an insignia of the black ship there. Last night we had a small celebration, and the old survivors danced their dances of old. My sons did not understand why the sky had not turned back to its original blue. The old man told them that the storms would never end until the enemy was destroyed. I assured my sons that a blue sky was not worth the risk of death, and they seemed to hear me. I have had a healthy adventure, and have begun work on a new book. Once again, I must leave a familiar age in search of a new universe I have begun. But first, I will have an extended time with Catherine, whom I miss very much. I must also return to the people of the Tide. I believe in my travels I have found a substance that will erase the pain of their bone ailments that they have long endured. I hope to return to mechanical age one day and find the population growing and my fortress still strong. Though the sky may always be black, I am confident the people here feel a heavier darkness has been lifted from their shoulders. So yeah, there we go. We've read about Channelwood and we've read about the mechanical age. We have 2 left. Let's see what else we got going on here. So we got the gears. Let's keep going. So that must be the ship or the dock. How are we doing on time? Okay, I've got half an hour left. Let's see what the tower has to say this time. Okay, we are indeed pointing to the ship. Okay, we have some dates and times here. I think it's fairly obvious where these go. First, I'm going to write them down. Alright, I've written down the dates. Now, I'm gonna hang on to these clues for just a little bit. Instead of going to turn the tower and get more clues. And I'll explain why I'm not going directly for these clues at first. I'll explain that later. So that pointed to the ship, and we got the dates for that. So let's go. Okay, so that seems to be pointing to that large tree with the wall around it. Okay. So yeah, we're looking right at the very large tree there. Seven, 2, 4. All right. So what could that mean? Well, by the way, I'm not. So let's go outside the library this time, and let's follow these leads that we have. Let's open the library up so we can go outside. Stefanifro, hello! Welcome to my my first episode of my Myst playthrough. I know you were interested in this, and because you haven't heard this, I know how the first island works. So I'm basically like sort of walking through, but I don't know much beyond that. Like I know how like 1 or 2 islands work, but beyond that, it'll be blind for me. Yep, it is Stefanifro himself. So anyway, I got a 3-digit combination. Oh, come on. There we go. And I'm quite certain the 3-digit combination has to do with this right here. So 7, 2, 4. And we got a match. I'm assuming that we've... Oh, wait. I need to light it, don't I? There we go. Nice. Okay. Believe it or not, I survived the throwing of the Subway sandwich. Barely. I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to mean. I think I need to check out the tree, though. So... Well, I'm alive. So actually, this is one of the few things that I'm actually not 100% sure on, because I had the furnace going. Must be built like a truck then. But then what? Like, am I missing something here? Those sound effects, yeah, no kidding. The old 90s sound effects. I cannot for the life of me... I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. I mean, like, I turned the thing for a bit. Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm supposed to turn this thing. Oh. It's actually moving now. You've only ever experienced some of the third one, but this is incredibly reminiscent of the experience. Yeah. I actually haven't played the third one at all. I have not... What was that noise? Greetings from New York. Such a peculiar... It's a peculiar puzzle game. So... I played this game as a kid, but never got very far. There's only one... And it's this particular thing that I actually am a bit stuck on, because... I did all the things. Oh, wait. Is it too much? Maybe I need to keep it to the center. I have to figure out what the sound is. Okay. Like, literally everything, like, each other puzzle on this... Each other puzzle on this island, I know. Oh, there we go. What the... Huh. We have a bit of an Orion discussion going on. There's some kind of elevator thing happening here. Sound seems to be associated with that. Huh. I see. So yeah, that's okay. I didn't realize that this was something I was confused about. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, so you cool it down, and this thing goes down. Wait, that means I want to go down instead of up. Okay, let's wait in here for a little bit. Stop throwing sandwiches, guys. Huh. Okay. There we go. And that leads to another book. Okay. I'm guessing that is channel wood. Okay. No, I don't even understand your sandwich escapades. Thank you, Copal Records. Thank you very much. Now I need to get out. I want to see if I can get out of here. Oh. Huh. Can I knock it out? I was hoping to finish Myst. Oh, there we go. Okay. I was hoping to finish. I'm hoping to finish Myst Island before I go into any of these ages, any of these different places. Oh no, is it pretty slow? That's not too bad. Huh. Such an intriguing device, I gotta say. Wonder who's paying the electric bill for this place. Must be through the roof. With everything being left on all the time. What have I accomplished so far? So I've opened the mechanical age. I now know how to get to the channelwood age, and I want to open the ways for all the other books now. Am I just gonna keep hearing that? Okay. What are you up to accomplish new for the sandwiches at me? Oh boy, you guys. Anyway, so yeah, so there's that. Let's read another book, shall we? It has been a while since I have heard only silence, and I enjoy it greatly. I think for some reason I do not feel altogether welcome in this new world in which I have arrived. But how could I be unwelcome in an age with no inhabitants? It is, of course, only in my head. This world is very beautiful, but I think I have yet to ever write in a journal that an age I have linked to is horrid or disgusting. From the grassy hill where I am standing, I can see green fields below, along with a few scattered forests. A rather large lake looms some distance from where I am standing, yet the water's blue can be seen plainly from here. The air is fresh, and the sky is sparkled with white clouds. It is absolutely breathtaking, and yet, that strange feeling again. Take a break, Baron, just telling a story. Perhaps it is the hot breeze that continues to blow from the north, hotter than I would have imagined. It almost singes my skin, and I feel quite uncomfortable when it comes. I will try to ignore it. Night has almost arrived, and the sunset is spectacular. Oranges and reds have settled above the western horizon. Though night has come, the horizon still glows red, long past the sunset. Dark reds flow from the horizon and blend into the black sky. Again, the feeling, and I am beginning to believe it is not all in my mind. I must sleep now. I will need my strength to explore more tomorrow. I have had to return home due to a unpredictable natural occurrence more frightening than I have ever experienced. I was awakened by terrible shakings in the ground and explosions on all sides of me. Gigantic balls of fire were falling from the sky, and I immediately leapt in fear of my life. I must remember to bring a Myst linking book with me when I return, in case the one left there has been destroyed or damaged. I have returned to a different world than the one I left only 3 months ago. It has been transformed into a barren desert land, with only gigantic craters scattered across the land to provide variety. Strangely enough, the small grassy hill where I spent my first night remains exactly the way I found it. Apparently, the falling meteors did not hit this area, leaving an oasis in the midst of this horrible desolation. The hot wind, I remember, has turned into a rather pleasant breeze, which is at least one improvement. I fear it is the only improvement. The magnificent lake I saw on my first visit is now completely dried up. However, another lake now exists and appears to be quite a bit larger. I assume one of the falling meteors created this lake due to its circular shape and the jutting rock that grows out of the center of the lake. The rest of this world seems like desert, although I will verify that statement with closer inspection. Though this world has little visual excitement to offer, it offers much to the ears. Sounds constantly flow through my ears as I have found where a few of them originate. It seems, as Catherine says, I do find beauty in everything. Last night I was awakened by a horrible hissing. I was sweating, and the sweat was so intense that I immediately dipped my head in a nearby stream to cool it down. The hot breezes had returned along with a low roar from the ground. I walked a short distance to observe some red flames shooting up from the earth. Suddenly the ground began to crack, and a huge chasm opened. The chasm continued to grow until it was far too wide to cross. Then the tumult subsided, leaving only a dull roar. I have decided, however, I can use the chasm to my advantage. Perhaps the heat from the chasm can be harnessed. Even as the chasm has ripped into the surface of this world, it has opened up a whole new world to explore. Although uncomfortably hot, I found it possible to reach a cave in the chasm that had been created, and have now explored deep into the crest of this planet. I found a vast underground cave system that will take many years to map and explore. I'll also look for a safer way to reach the underground than through the chasm wall. This age seems to change on its own, so I feel I should leave again and see if things are different when I return. It is also important that I check on Cirrus and Achenar and make sure everything is going along well. When I return, I also hope to bring back some tools I will need for my plans to explore the underground. The abundance of raw materials here is beginning to amaze me. I have returned with some of the complex tools I knew I would be needing. I assumed I would have to return for more basic materials. However, it seems as though I will be able to find everything I need here. Of course, iron is abundant, but I have also found titanium occurring naturally. I am all the more excited to begin work. Everything is set, and I look forward to tomorrow. My raw materials are all here. I think I will be able to have most of my additions to this age completed within 1 year. I also love working with my hands, whether writing or building. Well, and I have decided 3 meters is not enough support for... 3 meters not for amazingly strong spaceship to be one of my most prized inventions. I am extremely... would never have imagined it to come together. I doubt. Could possibly work with 14 instead of completely fatigued. I'm so happy to have complete tomorrow. I'm leaving today in order to bring back Cirrus and Achenar. If you want, you can stream Bible studies. I'd watch. That'd be kind of pog. Let me finish this book and I'll answer that. I'm leaving today in order to bring back Cirrus and Achenar. I've left them alone. I've left them alone in Channelwood. I believe they will enjoy all there is to see here. The age seems to have stabilized. I believe the meteor set off a period of volcanic activity by piercing into the shallow crust, but the tremors have become few. I've just noticed that a large amount of this journal has curiously vanished from the very pages on which I wrote over the last 18 months. Fortunately, I have copied many of my construction notes in another journal. I do not understand the many mysteries of this world, but I trust I will discover logical answers to my questions. I have a feeling that many of my questions can be answered in another age to which I hope to travel soon. But for now, I must simply accept this world's mysteries and take pride in my accomplishments. And I guess this is the map of the island, and we have some piano notes here. So I'll take note of that later. Why does that page turn sound excruciatingly accurate? It fully encapsulates what it sounds like when a story will turn a page with one hand and separate the next 2 pages from each other like they're made of glue. Well, I heard, so in another age there's a bubbling sound, and I heard, like, this is hearsay, like I heard an anecdote that they blew bubbles, so they used a straw to blow bubbles in a toilet bowl to get a bubbling sound. So, yeah, there's a piano puzzle here. So I'll need to write that down. However, well, actually, yeah, I'll write it down now. So we have, let's see, low B, low B flat, C, F, C, E flat, and then it's 5, 1, 4, 2, 3. Or if you want to, or you can also say A sharp, C, F, C, and D sharp. Oh, hello, Royally. Hello, Joey. Hi. So Amazu, you mentioned something about Bible studies. So while I am a Christian, and I probably could, I have done a little bit of religious schooling or whatever. However, I don't think I'll do. I'm not sure if I'll do that. I don't know if I don't think I have a sufficient audience for that kind of thing. Besides which, if it were me, it would not just be Bible studies. It would also be Book of Mormon studies because I accept both the Bible and the Book of Mormon as scripture. But that gets into personal religious preferences and things like that. Not entirely important. I have, however, considered. No, so it's just a cursor. I have considered doing something like reading, like doing reading streams or audiobook streams or something like that. So yeah, no, the hand is literally just my cursor. So there you go. So we have Channelwood, we have the also call it Spaceship, and Mechanical. Let's read one more. I need to leave in about 10-15 minutes, so I'm going to finish reading I'll read this book, and then I'll finish the rest of the puzzles here on Myst. And then on Wednesday, I will continue my Myst playthrough. Besides, even if I were to do some kind of Bible study on Twitch or whatever, it would. I don't know if I would have a lot of unique things to offer, unless you were looking for a specific Latter-day Saint approach to the topic, or whatever. So I know where the piano thing goes. We'll get there in a few minutes. Okay, here's the last book. Emmett was the first to live on the rocks. He named them the rocks because that was what they were. A group of sharp rocks clustered together in the middle of a large sea. This was where Emmett lived. He enjoyed his life. Emmett would occasionally swim to nearby rocks as it was never too far of a distance. One day another person appeared on the rocks for no apparent reason to Emmett. Emmett named this new person Branch. Emmett and Branch quickly became friends, swimming and hunting for fish together often. Emmett showed Branch the simple cave in which he lived on the largest rock. Soon, Branch discovered a place where he decided to live, also on the same large rock. The sun always shone brightly in their world, and the water was always dazzlingly clear, allowing them to see almost to the deep ocean floor which surrounded them. Though the sun always shone, it was never too hot for the boys. A light breeze always came from the north and cooled the area down. One day, while Branch was swimming and having fun in the water, he noticed another boy swimming. Branch brought the new boy to Emmett to find out what to call the new boy. Emmett said the boy should be called Will. Will was soon a part of the group, and all three of the boys swam and enjoyed their perfect world. At least, that is the story I was told when I arrived today on the island. Emmett, Branch, and Will were surprised to see me at first, but soon before the night ended, we were all becoming good friends. Today, the second day on this newly created age, a strange thing happened. It was not strange to me, but the three boys did not understand what was happening. While I was relaxing under a large tree on one of the smaller rock islands, it began to rain. It was a nice rain that lasted for about an hour in the morning. I explained to the boys that the rain was not harmful, yet they obviously still feared it. Before going to sleep tonight, I told the boys I would leave the following day. I told them that while I was gone, I would make a surprising change in their world. They didn't understand, not that I expected them to. I still do not fully understand what happened today. I was experimenting with the art, testing the limits of the rules as dictated to me by Father. I attempted to create a boat by writing it into the world. I thought everything was planned correctly, yet somehow the boat had become gripped by the rock and broken in half. Although this test did not turn out as I had hoped, I now have answers to a few of the questions my father never answered. As for the boat, I can see the boys enjoy it anyway, and with that I am pleased. They have played on it all day. Even though the boat cannot move, I have enjoyed studying from it. It is a much sturdier platform than the jagged rocks. In the course of my observations, I have learned some very interesting things regarding the solar system of this age. Submersible lamp. Interesting. The nights are absolutely beautiful here. I have made note of and named a number of constellations that pass above me. Also during the night, I catch glimmers of light from the horizon, which I have not been able to discover if it is created by some natural phenomenon or by additional people on far-off islands or rocks. I should very much like to discover which. I rather suspect it is additional people, which would explain the appearance of Branch and Will. So wait, what was created? Glimmers of light in the horizon. Okay. The rain today was slightly heavier than usual. Just when the boys were getting used to the light rains, a small storm arrived. They were frightened of the heavier rain, not to mention the thunder and lightning. If the rain has never fallen here, until recently as the boys tell me, I would like to discover why it is falling now. Regardless, I have decided to return home for a short while. I've also been thinking of some plans for a lighthouse that I hope to construct soon. I think that perhaps by shining a bright light toward the horizon, it might prove my suspicions regarding additional inhabitants. They would be curious about the light and travel to discover its source if they have the means. I returned with many tools that I will need for construction of the lighthouse. I've decided that once the lighthouse is completed, I will leave for some time and let the world's own imagination have control. We have worked 3 weeks on the lighthouse now, and are making great progress. The rock that we are building on seems to not be as secure as I would like. I've had to alter my plan slightly, but those alterations pose no real problem. The boys are quite strong and have been helping me immensely. I estimate construction will be done within 2 days. Oh, the chord is a B-flat sus add 9. Interesting. When the B-flat is sus, right? You're welcome. The lighthouse is finished and we are all proud of our creation. The boys are amazed at the structure wrought from rock with their own hands. That evening we powered up the generator, much to the boys' dread at first, and shined a great light to the horizon for many hours. I stayed the night in the top of the lighthouse, and in the morning awoke to observe the sunrise without my being coated with the chilly blanket of ocean dew I had become accustomed to. It was Will who first saw the girl. She was swimming not far from the boat where Will was getting ready to hunt for fish. Then Will noticed a man not far away from the girl. Emmett was very pleased to meet the additional neighbors. I feel pleased to leave this age. Baron, no. Stefanofro, you became a VTuber. Shut up. You can't talk. I feel pleased to leave this age. I have set in motion events that have nothing to do with writing or the art, that will have a more profound impact on this world than I could have ever written. I think, Stone Ship Age. I think of it, this age, as a gift to myself that I will wrap up and open someday in the future, only to discover that it has changed so much that indeed it is a surprise. Besides, I get another new age that awaits me. It seems I'm going to need some way to travel underwater in this new age, and so much planning is in order. It has been 10 years since I left this age, which I have since called the Stone Ship Age. Upon returning, I cannot believe the changes that have taken place. The original 3 boys have grown into adults, and there are many new faces that I do not recognize. Branch told me that it has not rained for 7 years, and the cool breezes are back again. They are all very content and have been serving me with new foods and showing me new materials they have discovered. It even seems they have found gold somewhere. I see it in many forms around the island. My lighthouse has been kept in perfect condition, and it looks as if they have tried their very best to keep it so. Yet I have noted that the entire rock it was built on has sunk approximately 40 or 50 centimeters. After our wonderful visit with my old friends, I wonder aloud with them what things will be like in another 10 years. And we have some constellations, along with, oh yes, the symbols that correspond to the symbols around the model spaceship outside. So we have read all 4 books: Channelwood, Stone Ship, Spaceship, and Mechanical. So let us go now to the planetarium. And let's enter in those dates, shall we? Okay. October 11th, 1984, 10:04 a.m. I know the sound is not great. Oh, wait. I need to turn off the lights. There we go. Okay, so, yeah, it looks like a massage chair or a dentist chair. Myst is weird, and I love it for its idiosyncrasies. Okay, so for the first one, I'm jotting down the little, I'm jotting down the constellation shape here so I can refer to it later. You're curious about the final date? Yeah, so I'm going to enter that in a little bit. Okay. Next is January 17th, 12:07. There we go. 5:46 a.m. Okay. You guys are settling your sub sandwich rivalry while I'm jotting down constellations with the with this lovely music in the background here. Okay. And then finally, November 23rd, 9791. (6:57 p.m.) There we go. Okay. All right, so I've written it all on this sheet of paper here. And let's go back to the book with the constellations. I believe it was it this one? No, it's not. It's this one. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Yeah. So the first one is a leaf. Baron will be the main commentator. The second one... Oh, the third one is a beetle. Or whatever that is. And the second one, I think, is a snake. So, where have we seen those symbols before? We've seen them around this ship here. So, leaf. Let's see, where are the other... No, that's not it. Nope. Beetle. Snake. I'd be inside just doing my Baron things. Outside protesting it. Okay, what is this? One must wonder. Ah, the ship is up now. Could that possibly mean... I know what it means. The ship is up. Yep. So now you can get on the ship. There isn't really much on this ship. You can go in here. And there's another book. Right there. But there were 4 books in the library. Each of them told about a different island or age. Where's this 4th one then? Well, we go to our handy dandy map here. We'll rotate the tower to the spaceship. Spaceship! Now we're looking at the spaceship. $59 volts. Okay, so before we can use the spaceship, we need to be able to open it. And that, if you remember, there was a power generator room earlier. Okay. Alright, so this gives power to the spaceship, as we see here. However, each of these buttons gives a different number of volts. Let's see, so that's 9, 19, 22, 2, 1, 5, 16, 8, 7, and 10. So, alright, so we have 41, 50. That's too much. Darn it. I think I overpowered it. And I think what I have to do to fix it is go over here and do that. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Spaceship? Who built this place? Okay, so... I'm gonna have to write down... Okay, I'm gonna have to write down what each of these buttons do, because if I keep overpowering it, then I have to restart it again. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. How loaded are they in cache? I don't know. Actually, here's the thing, though. So, you kind of get hints of this in, like, that fourth book I read. But each of these ages were created by a group of people that have a certain gift for... Well, they were created by a certain gift of writing into special linking books. So, these islands are literally powered by writing and imagination. That's 8, 16, 5, 9, 19, 22, 2, and 1. Alright. Let's restart this one more time and hopefully not have to restart it again after this. At least I assume I have to flip that. Maybe just leaving and coming back is enough. I don't know. So magic words, basically wizards. Yeah, basically. Okay, good. Alright, so these two give us 41. We need 59. So I need 11... No, wait, no, not 11. I need 18 more. So if I do 10, 7, and 1. There we go. And if I'm not mistaken, the spaceship should be open. Aha! Ooh. And here's where the piano comes in. Okay. Yep. So the B minor chord sequence will come into play here. So we have, that's 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now, that doesn't solve it. This does. Oh boy. So. Okay, cool. I think that's it so far. Yep, alright, excellent. Next one. So C, da da da. Yep. So, and then 4. Okay. Yep. And the final one, B flat. Musical goodness in front of us just singing my own song. Wait, hold on. So if this is the bottom note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Nice. There we go. And yeah, and that's the age for this particular spaceship. And with that, I do believe we have solved all the puzzles on this island to get to the various different ages. Now, at this point, you could go to any one of these 4 ages, in any order. I could go in here if I wanted to. I could go to this, or I could go to the one in the tree. I could go to the one in the gear, or I could go to the ship. But I'm going to stop this stream here. Because I played for long enough, and my wife and I want to watch some Clone Wars, the 3D one. So, yeah. You can expect more Myst on Wednesday, when I stream this on Wednesday. And I will continue from there. This will be uploaded to YouTube as well, so people can watch it and see all your lovely comments and everything. But yeah, this is this is good. This is I feel pretty good about doing this series. So have a good night, everyone. Thank you, all of you, for showing up. And until next time, all the best.